Okay, we're out here where the food plot is. This is where well, it's not here yet, but this is where I'm going to plant it, in this field right here. Got the highway over that direction, probably about, I don't know, 400 yards maybe. But that highway's been there since like the 60s. So the deer don't really pay it much attention. It's not something that spooks deer. But what we're going to do is plant Egyptian wheat around this field here, and you can see there's a road right here. I'm going to walk down this road up to where it forks off, and then there's another road going the other direction. There's an airstrip right here. It's a runway, and a grass runway for an airplane right here, and there is a parallel road that goes up beside it, which bounds this field. This field is bound by two roads. So inside of this, so you can look down that way. Inside of this road here, this road will not be in use during hunting season. It's all gonna grow up in hay, and I'm just gonna allow that to happen so it creates doe bedding. I might even think about planting something for doe bedding. You guys can let me know in the comments your recommendations for that. Should I just let it grow up in hay? Should I plant something? But let's see, I've got my little wheel here. I'm gonna start from this road. I'm gonna go in about, there's 20 feet in. 20 feet in, and however long that is, it's a pretty long distance down there. And this isn't the only field. This, you can see it kind of bottlenecks up there, maybe hard to see on camera, but it wraps around a bend over that direction, and it opens up into another field that's kind of not as big as this one, but it's pretty decent size. So it has this natural sort of wraparound effect to it that, you know, people say they like to design their food plots that way. And then right at the end of that field up there is a little lake, a little pond, and I'll show you that on the aerial map. But so basically I'm going to come in a little ways off the field here, and this is where I'm going to start my Egyptian wheat. Going to plant it all the way around and leave some corridors up that direction. But that's about it for the food plot. Okay, now we're kind of up on the hill here. There's the food plot below. We were just down there. This is the field that relates to that food plot, or the hill that relates to that food plot. So, as you can probably tell, I'm gonna zoom in a bit. This has been logged. The forest has been thinned out a bit. There's a lot of hardwood regeneration, upgrowth, a lot of small twiggy trees growing up, thicket, briar patches like you wouldn't believe. It's just thick, and it's like that in most, I think, basically all around this first ridge right here. Maybe a little less in some locations, but the real dilemma, and what I'm asking for advice on, is because this is likely where all the buck bedding is going to be, up here on this ridge, how then, since I'm not the one influencing where the bucks bed, because there's really nothing much I can do other than just let them bed on this hill, how then can I determine where to place a stand? Because, you know, I was right here where I'm standing right now. You can see this part of the hill is bare. This is all hayfield. We're up on a hill here. There's a tree line, and then it kind of, you know, graduates into the hill up there. I thought about putting a plot stand right here, like a tower of some kind, putting that up right here, and maybe sowing some Egyptian wheat right along the side here to cover me, to where I can come up here. The deer are going to be in the food plot below, you know, sowing it all around here so I can't be seen going to the stand. And getting up in here, you know, in the evenings or even in the mornings, you could like see up the hill there, but you can't see too far into the woods until everything's just kind of gone. Like, you can't really get a good visual very far up into the woods. It's just too thick. So I may still put a stand here yet, or a tower or whatever, blind. But if I really want to hunt those daytime bucks in their bedding area and their staging area, I'm gonna have to figure out how to get up here. So that's my dilemma. I'm asking for any advice. What would you do if you had a hill, a ridge next to your food plot that had been logged? And I mean, I guess it's really good habitat for bucks now. It's got all the browse food in there. But there, you know, since you're not the one determining where the beds are, then you can't really necessarily know where to place a stand, because you could be walking right through a bedding area. And so what would you do in that situation? Would you remove some of the potential bedding areas up there, or some of the bedding potential? Would you go clear out some sections of thicket to where you know bucks wouldn't stay there? Would it be a matter of removing deer habitat instead of creating deer habitat so that you can work a stand up in there? Let me know in the comments, or even email me. It'll be in the description. And yeah, that's basically it. Okay, now here we are in the other part of the plot. This is where I was pointing to earlier, more to the east part of this hill. It kind of bottlenecks over there. There's a little road inlet, and then you get in here, and this part has been grown up for years in briars and broom sage and all sorts of stuff. And at first, what I was going to do, when I first set about making a food plot out here, I had set my sights really small. I was just going to basically, what I did was I came in here with a bush hog, and because this was all grown up and had plenty of good, like, natural cover going on, I had wanted to come in here and just bush hog this out and just create a little, like, inside food plot in here that I was going to till up and leave that natural cover. But I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and bush hog a lot of this. I'm probably going to leave some of it, and I'm going to leave some of it for bedding, I guess, probably. And but I'm going to go ahead and plant that Egyptian wheat around the perimeter of this too, and also the switchgrass. I'm not going to not plant the switchgrass. It's just that I need something. The switchgrass is going to take a couple years to get up to the height that I need it, and while that's growing, I can have the Egyptian wheat doing the short-term coverage and suiting my needs in the short term. But as it stands right now, a lot of this is I mean, to me, you can see doe beds inside of this already. This is already, as you can tell, sufficed as doe bedding all the way through it. So why remove it? I'm kind of regretting removing what I did of it, because I was at the time thinking I was going to put food here. So I thought, well, we can sacrifice a little bedding for food, but there's still plenty here. And the good news is that this is hay, so this is all going to grow up again during the summer, and then I can kind of come back in here and redo my bush hogging and leave a little bit. I'm going to leave a lot of this on the edge for deer bedding, and then we'll have the Egyptian wheat, and then we will have the food plot. So the food plot is kind of getting squeezed and confined into a slightly smaller area than the entire field, but I'm going to try to maximize that as much as possible, and I think it's still going to be enough food to last the entire season, because this is probably still going to end up being at least a 5-acre plot, maybe even bigger. I'm going to have to check. I'm going to have to figure out how to calculate the acreage that I'm using up here. It could be as much as like 8 acres. And if that's the case, then we're golden. But see, as you can see, you look at that ridge right there. That ridge, I don't think has been logged. If it has, it's it's only been logged like selectively up on top. But I think in general, that ridge has been left alone. And that one, you can see the thicket, it got logged. There's a lot of piles of logging debris, treetops, just piles of tree debris from the logging that my dad did up there. And it's not pleasant to be up there right now, but it'll regenerate itself. And I don't know if there's anything you can do about that. I mean, it's really tough to even walk up there. I'm open to your to your suggestions and your opinions on that, but yeah, just any comments, anything you have to share about what I'm doing, or any advice you may have, it's all open. Just let her rip. Okay, I'm up here on the other ridge, the one that is the next one back. The one we were looking at previously is there. It's been logged. I'm trying to check on if this side of the ridge has been logged, of that adjacent ridge has been logged. Walk down here. This one has been logged like on the top, but the logging kind of stopped like right as you drop off, and all of this down here is still kind of left alone. It's really nice forest floor. Not a whole lot of thicket going on, no briars, no nothing, a lot of mature hardwood trees. So if we walk down here, I'm curious to see if this, because this would be the east. Oh shit, look. Oh, excuse my language. You can see I don't know if you can see it on the right there, my tower stand on the other ridge. That's a big old stand. About 25 feet tall, I think. You can just see it up there. Okay, let me back this out. Actually, yeah. I mean, obviously that's a really steep drop off right there. It doesn't appear that there's really been any heavy logging on this side, so, but I don't know if bucks would get down there to bed or not on something that steep. I mean, from this vantage point, it looks like a it looks kind of like a straight drop off like this, and I guess they do bed on that stuff. I don't know if it would be worth going on that side of the ridge and trying to create some buck beds, but right up here, and we'll walk up here in a second, there's a really perfect opportunity here to do hinge cutting and create a kind of a corridor around here and create some buck beds. And we'll look at that next. And as you can see right down at the bottom of this, it drops nicely right down into my future food plot. So this is definitely useful as a travel corridor. I'm just not exactly 100% sure the best way to create one. There's probably some do's and don'ts. So once again, the advice box, the advice door is wide open. Whoever wants to chime in and give us some help here, because we're wanting to do it upright.